Hey, what's going on? Welcome to D+Pad Life, and today we're going to discuss all of the games that I beat in 2025. And in total, we're looking at 28 games beaten. Now, that's 22 off the backlog and 6 games replayed. So that's a lot of games, man. I had a pretty busy year, and I was somehow able to fit in that much content. Now, that feels pretty good. Now, one thing you might recognize is looking at this shelf here, I went ahead and did a little reorganizing for this video so that we could mainly focus on the games that I actually played. So that's this row here, so you can ignore anything above it or below it. Not everything is represented here, though, and there's some reasons for that. We'll get into that as we go. But before we begin, let's just... actually, not before we begin. To begin, let's jump right into it with the game that is not shown here. So I played Batman Arkham Origins Blackgate. We'll just look at this collection for right now while we discuss it. I played that on the 3DS, and I did a discussion video on that on the channel. If you have any interest in what my thoughts were on that, just be sure to check that out. Maybe I can put it in the description, or it might have to be a pinned comment or something like that, or just the comments. I think that... a channel my size, I don't think they let me put links in descriptions yet, actually. So, but yeah, Batman Arkham Origins Blackgate, decent enough little Metroidvania. Ultimately, I didn't really think it was all that great. But on the note of Batman, another game I beat, and this is news for the channel. I haven't actually done like a formal video on this yet, but I did finish Arkham Asylum. I finished it just yesterday. Right before the new year. So it is officially 2026 now. But that was the last game that I beat in 2025 was a replay. So this one did not come off the backlog. I had beaten this game way back in the day when it was new, and I've played it 2 or 3 times, maybe since it was new. And I've already started Arkham City, by the way. So that'll be another replay that's going to be getting done here. But overall, Arkham Asylum was really great. The most of the point of this video is just to kind of go over the games I beat, not so much to really dig into them, or else this video would go on forever. But yeah, Arkham Asylum, I can't say it's still great. It's still worth playing. Its age definitely shows. And so far, I think Arkham City is the more enjoyable of the 2 games. It's just a little snappier, quicker, more frenetic, but Asylum definitely still has its place. It's very good. That final boss fight is still pathetic, though. So that's 2 games down. I also very recently beat Blood and Truth. I thought this was a pretty dang good game, pretty cool game. If you're going to get into PlayStation VR at all, or if you already are, if you can score this for like $5 to $10, I'd say you won't be disappointed. Any more than that, and you know, it's going to be hit or miss depending on the person. For me, it was a pretty fun game. I enjoyed it. I'm really glad I have it. I'm really glad I played it. Then we have, this is kind of interesting. We have Crash Bandicoot The Insane Trilogy. Now, this only counts as 1 game. I only played Crash Bandicoot 1 in 2025. I still have not played 2 or 3. I've mentioned in many other videos that I think my plan is to play the Switch versions of 2 and 3, but my Switch is having issues right now. I still have to get it repaired, so at some point, I'll be digging back into those. But this one keeps looking at me. Like, I keep looking at it on the shelf, and I'm like, man, I kind of want to get back on that. So this actually might get played on the TV after all. At least Crash 2, I think. Because out of the 3, that's the one I'm most intrigued in playing anyway. So yeah, Crash 1 was another game beaten. And oh yeah, I'm trying to keep it in alphabetical order as best as I can here. Call of Cthulhu, which I no longer have. I ended up selling it. I played that in 2025 as well, and that was the PS4 game. Ultimately, it was a pretty neat game. It did some cool stuff, but nothing that made me think I'd actually play it again, so I went ahead and sold it. But I'm glad I played that one. If you can score it for really cheap, I'd say $10 or less, it's worth checking out. Otherwise, yeah, you're not really missing out on that much. Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. Now, this is kind of fascinating because I actually played and beat the PlayStation 4 version, but it had a PS5 digital upgrade available. So this is the version I actually played, and then I got it physically after the fact. This game, I have a lot of mixed emotions on, a lot. In fact, this is deserving of its own video because I have a pretty passionate response to this game. and the way it presented itself, and the way it presents itself, and how things played out for it. If you're familiar with the game at all, you've likely got an idea of how I feel already. Well, maybe. I'm sure you've heard my opinion from others in a way. But in the end, very glad I played this one. The year prior, I had played Crisis Core, which was really great. So I'm really glad to know that I've beaten this and I've beaten Crisis Core. That feels pretty good. Moving on, we have Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory. Now, what's interesting about this is I just got this PS4 version very recently, but I actually played this on the Switch, and I absolutely love this game. When this game got announced, I scoffed and rolled my eyes and just thought, what the heck are they thinking? Why are we getting a Rhythm Kingdom Hearts game? And it's canon too. There's storyline in here that's canon, which is kind of hilarious. But upon playing it, this is actually my favorite Rhythm game of all time at this point. I think it is absolutely fantastic. It's incredibly fun. And, the soundtrack of Kingdom Hearts is legendary. I mean, just really great stuff. So definitely worth picking up. I was able to get a really good deal on this. So I went ahead and picked that up for PS4 since I already have Kingdom Hearts 3 is in my still need to play section. But if you come down here, I've got all the other games as well in the story so far. So I just figured, complete the PS4 collection for cheap. May as well. And so this is fascinating. So Knack is beaten twice. And so the way this list works is I counted games that I beat and games that I replayed. Knack is the only one that falls into this category where it got beaten and replayed in the same year. So I do count this twice. I beat this game from start to finish twice. So 28 games, you could maybe say 27 if you disagree, that's fine. But I still committed the time to sit and play the game from start to finish. And I didn't skip any cutscenes or anything. I wanted to enjoy the story all over again. This is one of my earliest videos on the channel discussing Knack. And it's my highest viewed video on the channel as well. It's kind of got this odd thing going on where every day it just goes up in views by like 15 to 25. And now it's at 1,800, which is kind of nuts. I'm not sure what's going on with that because it's not getting likes. It's not getting comments. So, I don't know if someone left it up on their browser somewhere or something. It's just really strange. I don't really know how to explain that, but in any case, Knack is absolutely excellent. I had a blast with this game, and so much so that I replayed it again back to back. Definitely recommend it. But yeah, this is the only one from this list that is technically counted twice because I beat it and I replayed it. So yeah, that's Knack. Moving on now, we've got Last of Us Part 1 and Part 2. Not much to say about these ones. I mean, everyone knows about Last of Us, right? It's a very popular series. I beat the PS5 version of Part 1. I actually beat the PS4 version of Part 2, but it had the PS5 update to it. And now I own the remastered version of 2, so I haven't actually checked that out yet, but it's just a remaster. It's not like it's a remake. So I'm sure it's not that different, but really cool to have both of these physically like this. I'll definitely be revisiting these at some point. I'm more so looking forward to 2. I just thought the gameplay was so much better in Last of Us Part 2. So I'm really looking forward to playing that again. Yeah, so kind of interesting that I'm using this game to show that I played the PS4 one, but yeah. In any case, oh yeah, Little Nightmares 1 and 2. Now I recently did a video discussing these as well and my thoughts on these. So we won't dive too much into it other than to say yeah, I played both of these this year. Ultimately have a lot of mixed feelings about them. I want to like them more than I actually do, but very grateful that I played them, and I'm going to hold on to them for the time being because I think I'll revisit these someday, and I'm hoping by going into them with my expectations maybe more in check, although I don't know if I really entered them with hefty expectations or anything, but now that I really know what they are and what to expect from them, I think I might be able to find a deeper sense of gratitude. And recently I borrowed Last of Us, Little Nightmares 3 from my local library, so I'll be playing that soon enough here. And then I'll know how I've beaten all 3. So that's pretty cool. Moving right along, we're about halfway through what I have here in front of us. There's a few more games that I don't have physically here right now. So whether they're lent out or I played them digitally, stuff like that. PlayStation VR Worlds. Now what's really fascinating about this is when I did play this and I did my video on it, I only played the London Heist. Originally, when I picked this up, that was the experience I was most interested in because I knew that this was kind of like a sort of like it laid the groundwork for Blood and Truth. And so I figured, okay, let me go ahead and play the London Heist, and I'll just kind of move on from there. But recently, I popped this thing back in to check out all the other modes, and they're all very cool. The one with the shark is actually pretty intense. It had me hooting and hollering. I had a good time with that. But this one right here, Scavenger Hunt, is a super legit game. I actually really enjoyed it, and I'm hoping I can find another game similar to it on PlayStation VR because it was an absolute blast. Scavenger's Odyssey. It doesn't look like super fascinating from the back here, but it was really good. It was definitely really good. Highly recommend it. If you can get PlayStation VR Worlds again for like $10 or less, I don't think you'll be disappointed. Moving on, more PlayStation VR stuff. We played the Psychonauts and the Rhombus of Ruin this year. Really fun time. Always a joy to be in this world and to be on a journey with these charming characters. Definitely glad to finally have played this one so that now I can feel more comfortable going to Psychonauts 2, which might be coming up sooner rather than later now that this is fresh in my mind. Really like the Psychonauts series. Let's make sure I'm sticking to my list. Okay, good. Yeah, okay, perfect. All right, so next we have Red Dead Redemption 2. Now this was the biggest title that I played all year long. This one was quite the undertaking. I've been putting this one off for quite a while, and I've just, unfortunately for this game, it's, how should I phrase this? Like, its legacy kind of sabotaged it for me in a way. People have just spoken so immensely. Hi, Marston. People have just spoken so immensely highly. I'll just put Marston in the shot. Hi, buddy. People have spoken so immensely high of this game that by the time I got to it, I wouldn't say necessarily like I had high expectations, but I certainly thought, you know, it was going to just be this incredible experience. I guess that is a high expectation, but that's all I had heard, man. And ultimately, for me, the game was just okay. Like, I had a decent enough time with it. It does some things incredibly well, and there's aspects of it that are really impressive. But I just didn't find it to be the most fun game to play. I think I really prefer Red Dead Redemption 1. I'm going to be revisiting that in the near future. Let's see, I've got that on my finished list, but that'll be a replay that I'll be jumping into. I haven't decided if I'm going to play the Switch version of 1 or the PS4 version. But considering I'll probably be on the road soon with my new job, that Switch version should come in handy, actually. That might be the way to do that. Okay. Yeah, so now this is what's really interesting here. So Resident Evil 2 and 3, I played these PS5 ports as well as the GameCube version of the original classic versions of these games. So Resident Evil 2, I played the OG on the GameCube, and I played the remake on the 5, and the same goes for 3, but all of these are replays. None of these were getting played or beaten for the very first time. My wife recently got into Resident Evil and wanted to see more of the series, so we've been visiting those games and checking those out, and she's been having a good time with that. The next up's going to be Resident Evil 1. I'm going to play the Sega Saturn version of the first game because I've actually never played that version. And then we'll play the PlayStation 4 port of Resident Evil 1. And then from there, I don't know if we're going to go to 0 or Code Veronica. I haven't quite decided yet. Probably 0 and then Code Veronica. But we'll see. Maybe it'll go Code Veronica and then 0. Is that it for the R's? Yes, it is. All right. Sandland on the PlayStation 5. I had a really great time with this one. In fact, I left this one just wanting more of Akira Toriyama's artwork. I just wanted to play more games that looked like this. So I started like entertaining the Dragon Quest games, and I started looking into like Dr. Slump, one of his, I think that's what it's called, one of his original mangas. And I tried to find the Sandland manga, but it's kind of pricey. So I decided ultimately like, I'll just have to stick with the game. But this was a really fun little game, man. It's pretty basic as far as mechanics go, but just charm for days. This cast and the voice acting is a really good time. So and this is another one where if you can get it for cheap, I definitely recommend it. And it is available on PS4. And I feel like mechanically it probably handles just fine on PS4. Now, this is a big one, the Spyro Reignited trilogy. It took me a while to get back to this once I started it, but all 3 games have been completed on here. So to me, that counts as 3 games beaten this year. I would assume people would feel legitimately about that. Some of you might be kind of odd and think, I don't mean odd as in an insult, but just kind of different from me. Odd, like, no, all 3 only count as 1. This is 1 package, but I disagree with that. It says it right there, includes 3 games. I beat all 3 in 2025, and this is like an absolute blast. Super, super fun way to experience the original Spyro games. Definitely recommend it. I'll definitely be revisiting these in the future. Okay. So 2 games now that I don't have physically right now. So one is Silent Hill F. I sold that game. I'll be picking it up in the future at some point. I really liked it. I got all 5 endings. I have some gripes with it for sure, primarily with the overall plot. The game itself, I enjoyed enough. Obviously, I mean, I got all 5 endings, but I ended up selling that. There's a whole video about why I went about that. It's one of my earlier videos on the channel. Check that out. And you can hear a story about how I got paid $75 to play and complete Silent Hill F. I won't get into the details of that story here, but yes, I actually made money buying that game and playing it. It's kind of an interesting story. The other game that's not here is Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. I've lent that out to my brother at this time, so I don't have it physically, but I also played Survivor in 2025. And while Fallen Order I didn't love it. I enjoyed it enough, but I didn't love it. Survivor, on the other hand, was the complete opposite. I absolutely adore this game. I think this might be my favorite Star Wars game. I am super excited to revisit Survivor at some point. I thought overall, it has some of the most fun gameplay of any Star Wars I've played, and I really appreciated the story it told and the world it built. I can't say enough good things about this one. I'm really excited to return to this game in particular, as well as the Jedi series as a whole. I'm really hoping we get the end of the trilogy for this one. Let's make sure I'm not missing any games, and no, I'm not. All right, so we've got the last game here, and then I've got a rundown of some fun little stats I put together on how 2025 played out for me. So Until Dawn Rush of Blood was a pretty fun game, really short, just kind of like a rail shooter, but I enjoyed it for what it was. I just sat down one evening and beat it in one sitting. It took a little less than 2 hours to do, and it's good for that. Not something that I'll be like super in the mood to return to. It's not necessarily a one and done, but for me, it's just not something that like I feel like a strong pull to come back to, but I'm extremely glad I finally played it. I'd been looking forward to playing this one for a really long time. So glad to have that done. So a little note card I put over here to kind of keep me on track with games that weren't on the shelf, as well as some stats here. So on the list, we completed 4 PSVR games, 11 PS4 games, and 6 PS5 games. Of all of that, which that adds up to 21. So my math might be off. Well, we got a 3DS game, we got a Switch game. Yeah, I'd have to kind of think it over. Like, these were rough numbers. I literally just whipped these up right before filming. 5 of those were ports, 6 of those were replays, so that probably has a lot to do with it. And then 7 of those are remakes, which I just thought was kind of interesting because I've discussed remakes and ports and the importance of replaying games on this channel in the past. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to tally that up. But all in all, 2025 was a really productive year for me, and it created a massive dent in the backlog. I mean, 22 games off the backlog in a year is pretty solid for someone as busy as I am. And someone who just can only devote so much time to gaming anymore. It's really tough for me to give it the time that I'd like to. But with that being said, I'm really pleased with how this year has played out. And I'm hoping that my big goal for next year is to hit over 30 games. And I want as few of those to be replays as possible. But it is what it is. As much as it's fun going after the backlog and making a dent in the backlog, I think that it's just as much fun replaying games. And I think that ultimately you really got to meet yourself with where you're at and play what's right in front of you, right? I mean, you can only focus on new, unfamiliar experiences so much before you just start to yearn for something a bit more familiar that doesn't require as much effort, as much mental capacity, right? I think it's helpful to include some familiar games with a bit of nostalgia. I think that goes a long way in just keeping things moving. And I know for me, one thing I learned this year was that it's important to keep things mixed up. And having the PlayStation VR be a focus in my backlog and a focus in my gaming really keeps things refreshed, because if I start to get a little bored or feel like games are feeling a bit too samey or similar and it's starting to get a little dull, I pop on a VR game and it's immediately just a whole new experience that just kind of totally revitalizes my joy for gaming and my excitement to come back and play some more. And so by incorporating PlayStation VR, it has me going back to just basic TV style games with like this new chutzpah about me, right? Like I'm eager and excited to dig back into it. So with all that being said, man, we had a very successful 2025 here on D+Pad Life, and I'm really excited to see where things go next for the channel, and I'm really excited to see where things go next for this backlog. It'd be really great if this time next year, like, these are cut into half, and maybe even that, oh, it's not that top shelf, it's actually the stack over here. If this is chopped in half, one of my like big goals, which I just don't think will be possible, is to see if I can actually eliminate my PS5 backlog in 2026. It's a big goal, because I keep adding to it. That also doesn't help. But I don't know. I feel like if I really devoted it, I could, because there's a lot of games on that system that I'm eager to play. So wish me luck with that. But all that being said, if you enjoyed the discussion today, please leave a like on the channel. It goes a long way in helping spread the word and getting D+Pad Life out there. And if you enjoyed hanging out, please consider subscribing. I'm looking to grow this channel as much as I can and just continue to have the conversations going below, because, man, it is fun chatting with you guys in the comments, I gotta say. I appreciate you guys getting involved and joining the conversation, and I'd love to hear about what have you beaten in 2025. Do you got a number? Is it something you've kept track of? Because to tell you the truth, before I filmed this video, I actually had to kind of go into my trophies on PlayStation and see what actually got played this year. I was able to scroll through the list and be like, okay, I know I beat that. Click on it and it would tell me, you know, the date in which I got a trophy. And it's like, okay, if it says 2025, that means I played it in 2025 and I beat it. I had to do that, and then I had to kind of like explore my mind on like, what did I play on the Switch again? What did I play on the 3DS again? Which wasn't as much as I thought it would be, but that's okay. I think that number is going to increase going forward. But in any case, yeah, tell me what you guys have beaten this year. What was your big game? For me, that was Red Dead 2. Getting that off the backlog was a monumental task. Like, that was a big deal. And I think going forward for the next video, we're going to discuss 2026 plans and what it's going to look like for gaming in 2026 for D+Pad Life. That sounds like a fun topic to discuss. I think that'd make a good video, and I'll likely get that uploaded here shortly. So in any case, again, just please like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and until next time, I'll see you guys around. Thanks for watching D+Pad Life. Take care.